Ahead.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the January 2021 Roundtable. I'm so glad to be able to say that for the new year, and we wish you all a very healthy, prosperous, and better new year than last. So with that in mind, we will start our roundtable meeting with a safety moment from our district commissioner, Mr. Jim Fowler. Jim?
Good evening. I want to thank everybody for watching this, and I want to remind you that when you watch it, send me an email so I know that you're participating. Our participation has been down. It's been like in the 30s for 30% the last couple of months. But for the safety minute this evening, I went into the guide for safe scouting, and I'm going to talk about activity planning and risk assessment. So the policy regarding prohibited and authorized activities. The Boy Scouts of America's charter and bylaws, rules and regulations, policies and program guidelines help provide a safe and consistent program. Council and unit charters, as well as individual registrations, are conditioned upon adherence to these requirements. Adult volunteer leaders and units that allow youth or units to engage in prohibited or unauthorized activities in contravention of program requirements, and leaders who fail to take steps to stop any such activities put scouts and the organization at risk. Only leaders possessing the educational, emotional, and moral qualities necessary for leadership are permitted to register and serve as scouters. Actions which put youth or the organization at risk call into question the suitability of a scouter for leadership. If it is determined that scouts were allowed to participate or engage in unauthorized or prohibited activities, a leader's resignation and or the unit's charter may be subject to adverse action, including revocation. Now, this was approved by the National Executive Committee back in February of 2018. So, thank you.
All right, Jim. Pretty serious information, but we do represent an organization that takes safety and health seriously. And with that reminder, thank you, Jim. Next up, I'm going to turn it over to our district chairman, Mr. Rick Shover, to talk about Friends of Scouting.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Just want to mention that, yes, this is a time of year when normally we're all actively planning our Friends of Scouting presentations. This year, it may look a little different. We may plan those for a little bit later in the year. However, if your unit is planning to have and wants to have a presentation, please contact Jim or Nikki to get that on the schedule, and we will do our best to accommodate. I see perhaps later in the spring or towards summer being more feasible to have the in-person presentations. And we're talking about a way to put together a virtual presentation that your units can use. Hopefully we'll have more on that coming shortly, but that is something that we've been sort of knocking around. How do we go about making a presentation that you can use with your units in the virtual setting, as many of us are still not comfortable being in person, given the current public health issues. So, but it's really important. We don't want to forget Friends of Scouting is one of the pillars of our fundraising efforts for the year. And we really do want to find a way this year to have as many presentations as we can. There were a number of units that we were just not able to have that happen this past year. And we're really going to work hard to make sure that we can manage that this coming year. Thank you.
right, thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Next up, we're going to turn it over to Myrna Walker to talk about the upcoming Scout Expo.
Good evening, everybody. I'm sure you all are excited for the Scout Expo to be coming up. It is on February 8th through the 12th. The deadline that we did have set up for signups was January 1st. Since I only have 6 units signed up so far, we've changed the deadline to January 10th. Hopefully we can get some more units encouraged to participate with this. If we don't have enough units signed up, we'll probably not do we might actually cut back on the trophies. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to discuss that at our next committee meeting. But rest assured, we are doing our best to provide everything that you would normally see at the Scout Expo. It's just going to be by computer instead of being physically in the mall. We are going to be having Pinewood Derby at the Lebanon Valley Mall. Youth will be able to make an appointment to register their car. We will have a virtual race for everyone to be able to watch. And then we are going to be working out as far as trophies for the Pinewood Derby and for the Expo, how we're going to be doing that presentation. If anybody has any questions, please reach out to me at bseatlvm@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Myrna. Myrna, I'm going to ask you, where is the best source of information if anybody like myself hasn't looked into all that the virtual Scouting Expo is? Please let us know.
Okay, well, because the signups have been very slim, I am going to be sending another email out this week with the information, the updated information. And right now, we do have a Facebook page. We have temporarily closed it so that we can work on it to use that for the site to host the virtual expo.
All right, thank you. And as always, please look to the council website, look under Horseshoe Trail District Activities, and you will find information there. So thank you, Myrna. All right, next up, we're going to turn it over to both Jim Fowler and Nikki Welch to discuss Recharter.
All right, Recharter. I want to thank everybody that has gotten their Recharters in. We still have a few units that need to get their rechartering in. The JTEs, I got about 75% of the units sent me JTEs, and I'm going to be sending out a note, an email for other units to send theirs to me, because I like to get everybody's in so I know exactly how the unit's doing. So, yeah, some of the problems with recharters, I'll let Nikki discuss that with you. Some of the things that are holding some of them up.
All right. As everybody knows, the state requires the Act 15 clearances, and your clearances are good for 5 years. This past recharter marked the 5-year point for a lot of people, and if you don't keep up with it, that has been the big holdup. We have, I want to say, close to 15 units that are waiting on one person to update their clearances. If you have leaders who have updated them due to work, for instance, school teachers and others that work around children, those clearances are not automatically sent to our council because each organization by the state law is required to keep their own database. So please, if you have somebody whose clearances are going to expire, have them visit the Act 15 site on our council website. There is a bullet point link that says, how do I get the needed clearances I need? And the top two on there are the two that most people have that expire, and that's the state police and the child abuse ones. It's very simple to go back in and renew those. And once your person has those clearances, please have them send an email to daniel.hansen@scouting.org. He is the person in our council office who maintains the database. He will also then make sure that he has the correct email address for the person, because since they're private information, he can only let the people whose clearances are expiring know directly about their clearances. And if you had a whole bunch of people that all got submitted under the same email address because one person from your unit helped submit everybody's, he's not sending emails out to all those people because he knows that that is a bulk email address, and by law, he's not allowed to. So please check your clearances, make sure that those are up to date so that recharters and everything else goes smoothly. And remember, this is also required for summer camp for any of your leaders that are attending more than about a 24, 48-hour time period at camps. Thank you, Sheldon.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I just want to say that we had 51 units in the district to start the year off. We have 3 units that did not recharter this year. That was Troop 154, Troop 714, and our post, always forget that, 517. So those 3 units did not register, but now once we get to 2 new units registered, we're going to be back up to 50. So we lost 3, we're going to gain 2. We're going to gain a post and a female troop.
Not a post, a crew.
A crew, I'm sorry. A crew and a female troop. Thanks, Nikki.
All right, thank you. All right, then next up is myself to talk about the Klondike. All righty. Well, what we've got regarding the Klondike Derby is this. If you have not been paying attention, please keep in mind that the date was moved from what the original council calendar was, which was January 16th. It has now been moved to the following Saturday, January 23rd. So it is now scheduled for January 23rd, which is but within 3 weeks away. So the extended deadline to register is the 15th, which is the Friday before. But to give you also a bit of a heads up, there is a potential that this date will be moved to March, just to give you a heads up. At this moment, we are still scheduled for January 23rd. The only changes that we have in place so far is there will not be a hot meal served at lunchtime in the dining hall. All participants will receive their bagged lunch before they head out on the trail or to their stations, etc. And that is obviously due to the restrictions serving people in large groups that we have right now. But considering a few other possible restrictions and changes, we may have to change the Klondike again to first Saturday in March, which would be March 6th. So just to give you a heads up, please keep an eye on things. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you are willing to help or if you have any questions or anything. Again, I don't remember introducing myself, but most of you who are watching probably know me. I'm Sheldon Brubaker. My email address is smb115@ptd.net. I can also be reached at anytime, 717-468-5333. Don't call me during the night, but I do like to sleep just like you guys do. But I am available, and I would love as much help as possible. And also, any questions, please let me know. Information is on the website, and also registration is through Tentaroo. Thank you. All right, now we're going to switch gears a bit. I'm going to turn it back over to Nikki, Nikki Welch, our district executive, to discuss our district Pinewood.
Thank you, Sheldon. All right, as everybody knows, we were unable to host a District Pinewood Derby in 2020. Because of indoor limitations and everything, and how we don't know exactly how this spring is going to go, our district activities chair has been working with the Pinewood Committee and we've decided to move our district Pinewood to the beginning of May. This way we can have it at Camp Mac in the dining hall, keep it outdoors for as well as that can be, so that we can keep a little more space, social distancing, and still have everybody able to participate. More information will be coming, but we have decided that we are also going to allow anybody who would have qualified for the 2020 District Pinewood, we are going to be holding the Makeup District Pinewood during the day of the 2021 event. So technically, we will be holding 2 different District Pinewoods on that day. More information will be coming as soon as the committee has more details ironed out. Thank you. Back to you, Sheldon.
All right, thanks, Nikki. If you're catching a theme here, it's that everything set in stone is really probably sandstone or in pencil. Obviously, things change. I think we've seen that all this past year. And unfortunately, this year is going to be more of the same in that realm. So, very important to keep your eye on emails, the council website, and you know that most of the people on this virtual roundtable are available through email or phone for questions. So with that, we're going to turn it over to our Order of the Arrow Chapter Advisor, Mr. Mike Stanella. All yours, Mike.
All right, good evening. Just a couple things for the OA. First off, dues, they were due at the end of November through Tentaroo. So if you have not paid those, please get those in, $17 for the year. Also, we can start thinking it's election time again. So start checking your troop calendars and crew calendars to see when you might want to have an election. We can do it virtually. We have a live Zoom account that we can do virtually, or if you want to wait, again, the deadline I believe will be the same, so mid-May, so we can hold off for some if you guys are going to be meeting outdoors, or if you're not meeting in person yet. We definitely have several months, but something to start considering when you might want to have your OA election. Also on the same note as Sheldon has said, with things set in stone, but it is a very porous stone. We do have our lodge banquet coming up. March 13th is the current date at Melhorn Manor in Mount Joy. The deadline for that to register is February 27th. So again, just keep an eye out. The next Owl's Nest newsletter should be coming out shortly, and we'll probably have some updates in there. Just keep an eye out on emails as we get closer to that date to see if it changes or not. And I believe, yes, that is all I have. For the chapter meeting, we will not be meeting here in January. We were going to wait and have our next meeting on February 4th, and we'll very likely be back at Cockendorfer United Methodist Church, where we were for a couple meetings in October and November. So we'll send a blast email out to OA members in the chapter for updating that monthly meeting. So we will be meeting in February. And that's it.
All right, thanks, Mike. Quick question regarding OA dues. Is there any penalty for anybody who did not get it in early if they try to pay their dues now?
Nope, there is no penalty. There's no late fee or anything. It's $17.
It's just, you'd kind of like to know before the end of the year, but it won't turn anybody away. Good. All right. Thank you, Mike. All right. Next up, very important item here, and I think most of us on this roundtable are recipients of this. It is the District Award of Merit. So to talk a little bit more about it and the nomination process, turn it back over to our district chairman, Mr. Rick Schober.
Okay. The District Award of Merit is an opportunity every year for all of us to reach out and recognize a volunteer who has gone above and beyond, who, as Sheldon once told me, someone who has said yes enough times. If you know of someone in your unit or someone out of your unit, a volunteer that you know goes above and beyond with scouting, particularly as with respect to the district, please think about recognizing them. It's as Sheldon said, it's a very important thing. As you all know, part of our program, the advancement program, one of the keys to that is recognizing the advancement. And much the same way, it's important for us to recognize our volunteers who do special things. If you know of someone like this, or you think you might know someone like this and you would like to nominate them, please pass that information along to Jim Stam or to Nikki by the end of February. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And the form, the District Award of Merit nomination form is available either on the website or links through the National Council, or you can just simply do a Google search for District Award of Merit SA. All right, then we're going to turn it back over to Nikki to talk about both Cub Summer Camp at MAC and Scouts BSA. I knew I'd do that once. Scouts BSA camping at Bayshore this summer. Nikki?
All right, thank you, Sheldon. As many of you know, Summer Camp 2020 was very different looking. We are planning on doing a 2021 summer camp this year at both Camp Mac and Camp Bayshore. Dan Hansen and the camping committee for the council are working very hard to make sure that we can do a program in person and have it be safe for everybody. So for Camp Mac, Ben couldn't make it. Most of you know him as Barney. He couldn't make it tonight, but if you are doing your Cub Camp promo, you need to have it by March 31st in order to receive your discount for the 2021 registration for Camp Mac. So if you haven't already scheduled one, reach out to Barney. I'm sure that he'd be more than happy to help figure out a way to do it virtually if that's the only way that your unit is meeting right now. For Camp Bayshore, if you have not signed up for summer camp yet and you plan on going to Bayshore, please make sure that you go to the council website and check the week availability right away and put in your reservation as soon as you've checked that, because we already have at least 1 week that is fully reserved. And we need to make sure that if you are planning on coming here, that you reserve your spot before out of council units and others might have taken the week you usually go. So those are very important. The only other thing I have for summer camp right now is a hard deadline for camperships. If you have a scout family who needs a little assistance getting to summer camp for their kids this year, the campership deadline is March 15th. Please make sure that you visit the council website and find the campership form so that you can send it to any of your families that are asking for help with that. All the information about that will also be coming out in the next Scouter Focus. and it should have the links to the campership form as well as links to both Mac and Bayshore for checking availability and other things. All right. I believe that next up is the miscellaneous announcements, so I'll just go into that real quick. All right. While we're on the camping ideas, if you have a scout who is interested in Philmont or Seabase, the council is getting the 2022 Philmont and Seabase contingents built. Information about that is also found on the council website under High Adventure, under the camping tab. So if you have anybody that's interested, have them take a look at that, because if we don't fill up the entire trek, the entire contingent, Dan has occasionally had to cancel the council contingent and move the people to another year. So please, if you have scouts that are interested in that, or scouters, have them look up the information. All right. We talked earlier about recharters and clearances. Another thing that holds up recharters is training. We do have in-person trainings that happen regularly, but the council training committee is currently looking at whether or not we need to postpone them until a little bit later in the year due to ongoing COVID issues and indoor capacity issues and other things like that. So Den Chief training is supposedly going to be the next one, and it's held in February typically, but that one might be postponed. The council committee on training has not gotten specifics yet about that. But there are other trainings such as IOLS that will definitely be happening. It's just we don't know the specifics of them yet and whether or not they're going to be moved. This time of year, we also have a couple of other things that go on. If you had an Eagle Scout in 2020 who did an outstanding service project or who overcame something incredible to make his Eagle or her Eagle happen in 2020, the NESA, National Eagle Scout Association, Eagle Scout Service Project of the Year deadline is January 15th. So please make sure that if you have somebody that you want to nominate for that, that you don't miss the deadline. The form for that will also be sent out in a link through the Scouter Focus coming up. And the last thing I want to touch base on is the fireside chats. Usually we have fireside chat at Roundtable where the Council Key 3 comes in and answers all of your questions. Since we are not doing an in-person Roundtable and we've had, believe it or not, our own Scout executive has recovered from COVID. He had it in December. The Council Key 3 is figuring out what they're going to do about fireside chats. Since they are not going to be going to all 3 of the districts separately, and the in-person roundtables are challenging to say the least, especially if we're trying to get everybody to meet on one Zoom account due to limitations and other things that Zoom puts on. So the fireside chat is in the works. It might be that it is held as a big group, everybody log in and put your questions into a chat box. We don't know the specifics yet, but as soon as I have them, I will let you know. Thank you. Back to you, Sheldon.
All righty. Yeah, I was thinking that as you were mentioning it. Yeah, why don't we just send questions and they can take care of that. So, all right, excuse me. All right, next up, we've got a district commissioner moment from, you guessed it, our district commissioner, Mr. Jim Fowler.
Yeah, I'm going to discuss something that's near and dear to all of us. That's COVID-19. Yeah, it's a single greatest barrier to serving youth through scouting that unit leaders face today. Our National Service Center staff has done good work developing information about how to cope with COVID. All scouting is local, and our professionals and volunteers in our councils have been equally creative in developing new program delivery methods that enable scouting to continue. All of that information is available but it is scattered across a variety of websites and pages. Well, commissioners have now a single web page that provides direct links to information on how to keep on scouting while COVID-19 continues to limit normal activities. So the COVID-19 resource page will continue to be updated as additional information becomes available. And this link, when they go into the commissioner's page, is a prominently displayed bar that they can click on. And if you have a question or don't know answers to something, you can talk to your commissioner and he can go into there and get the information from national, but it's got to also be approved through the council. It has to go through the local also. I mean, they'll help you, but that resource is there for all commissioners to go and look at. So, again, I want to remind you that if you've viewed this roundtable session, you can email me at jefowler44@gmail.com so I can register it on the roundtable page. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. All right, next up will be our district chair, Rick Schober, for his moment.
Okay. I'd like to start by wishing that everyone had a wonderful holiday break. Hopefully you all were able to recharge, spend some time with family, and get a little bit of a break over the holidays. I'm going to tie on a little bit with what Jim said. I think January may be one of the toughest months that we face with COVID. And I firmly believe that we'll start to see improvement after that. And hopefully by summer we'll be close to normal. That may be a bit optimistic, but given what I'm seeing with the vaccines and stuff, I'm optimistic that we'll have a more normal program by summer. That said, be safe, and remember that the safety of our youth is critical importance to us. So everything you plan, please keep that in mind. I know virtual is a difficult task, but if that's what we need to do for a while, and certainly when we are together in person, please wear masks and socially distance. Do the things that we can do to be as safe as we can and give a great program to our scouts. Thank you again for all you do, and we'll talk to you next month.
All right, thank you, Rick. Does Nikki or anyone else on this call have anything to share before I adjourn? All right, then I guess I'll take my closing moments to simply say, sort of piggyback on everything that's been said so far. Most of you who are watching this video are serving a unit or two or three as a volunteer. We can't thank you enough for all you do. Most of us are volunteers as well. We know how it is. These are trying times. I would just love to simply be in person, do hands-on things and everything else with my troop, just like I'm sure you would like to do with your Cubs and Scouts, etc. I really need to encourage all of you to be patient and to be upbeat. Remember that attitude is not what people do to you, it's what your attitude is, how you respond to the circumstances and things around you. I can't change anybody else's mind per se, but I can set the tone for my troop meetings, although they're virtual again, by being positive and upbeat and encouraging on those meetings. Sending frequent communications to your units. Most of you have commissioners that would be glad to help you if you need help with communications, or anybody on this call can help guide you and direct you if there's a resource or something you would like help with. Your continuing encouragement and involvement in these times is what's going to take scouting through the next year, decade, and century. It's this health crisis, we will get through it, but we can let it defeat us if we let it. It could ruin your pack or troop or crew if you let it. Your encouragement and your attitude will go a long way to your youth and their attitude and their involvement to stick it out. Hey, it's unique for them as well. But I think they're learning to deal with it maybe better than some of the adults I know. Yours truly included. I'm frustrated as well, but I can't let that show through when I'm dealing with my youth. I have to be upbeat and encouraging, and I ask all of you to do the same. So for closing, to say, be well, be safe, follow all the things you know you need to do, and continue to be an encouragement and enlightenment to the youth that you serve. Thank you very much, and good evening.